To wrap up this group of videos about the actions available in Onum, we're going to start by looking at the lookup action. This action was briefly mentioned in the enrichment section, because in the end, it's what makes use of the files we uploaded in that tab. But to better understand how it works, we have the lookup action. In this action, we can select the table we want to use from all the ones we've uploaded. Once selected, the key column becomes active, and we'll need to choose a field that will match the key column in the table. Then we must select the output fields we want to work with. In this case, we can select values like country, postal code and region, which will automatically be assigned those names. We can also set a default value in case the IP does not match any in the file, so it returns a fallback value. For example, we could set a default like that, but perhaps it's better to use something like unknown to avoid generating errors. This can be configured for any field, and we can select as many values as needed. All options are available here, and we can add more. As we see, the field is configured automatically, and we can also assign a default value to it. Another feature we have is aggregation. The aggregation field allows us to group by a field and apply statistical operations. For example, we can specify the field we want to group by. Let's say we choose action. We can then define the grouping interval, for example every 5 minutes, and save it. Then we can choose the operations to perform. Available operations include sum, count, count non-nulls, first or last, the first or last non-null, average, minimum or maximum. We select the field to perform the operation on and where to store the result. As you can see, we can also add conditions. Another available action is unique. This action lets us control the unique values that are registered for a given field. It's closely related to CRCs, which we discussed earlier, as it includes the option to calculate the CRC we want to apply. This action was heavily used to generate translation dictionaries for values that had been encoded with a checksum. It's important to understand that the CRC must be sufficiently large to avoid collision in key assignments with the defined key space of a given CRC. For example, an 8-bit CRC compresses well but only gives you 2 to 8 possible values. So it's essential to understand the range of original values and what we need to encode in order to select an appropriate CRC and avoid collisions. Lastly, we have some actions that allow integration with AI models. Each model has its own configuration, and you can specify your tokens for testing and so on. These actions allow you to make calls to different models and languages. That way, you can receive the response generated by the model based on the prompts that you construct within your data flow.